धन्यवाद। वंदेहं श्री गुरु श्रीतपरकमलं श्री गुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्री रूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नाम श्रेष्ठं मनमपि शचिपुत्रम् अत्र स्वरूपं रूपं तस्याग्रजं रूपरीं मातुरीं गोष्ठवाटिं राधाकुण्डं गिरिवरमहो राधिका माधवाशा प्राप्तो यस्य प्रतितकृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि। नमस्ते गुरुदेवाय सर्वसिद्धिप्रदायिने सर्वमंगलरूपाय सर्वानन्दविदायिने हे श्री गुरो ज्ञानदीनबन्धो कारुण्यदाता करुणैकसिन्धो वृन्दावनासीनहितावतार प्रसीद राधा प्रणय प्रचार त्रायस्वभो जगन्नाथ गुरो संसारवन्निना दग्धं मां कालदष्टं च त्वामहं शरणं गता राधा सम्मुख संशक्तिं सखी संगनिवासिनीं तामहं सततं वन्दे गुरुरूपां परां सरकिं वैराग्य भक्तिरसं प्रयत्नैरपाययन् माम् अनभिप्सुमन्दं कृपां वदीर्यः परदुःखदुःखी सनातनं तं प्रभुमाश्रयामि। हे देव हे दैत हे भुवनैक बंधो हे कृष्ण हे चपल हे करुणैक सिंधो हे वृंदावनासि नैतावतार प्रसीद राधा प्रणय प्रचार। हरे कृष्ण। सर्वप्रथम अस्मदे गुरुपाद पद्म नित्यला पृष्ठ जगत गुरु श्री श्रीमद भक्तिदाद नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज दंडी स्वामी श्री श्रीमद भक्तिदाद दंडी महाराज जी नामनिष्ठ संत श्री अनिरुद्ध दास प्रभु जी और समस्त वैष्णव के चरणों में मैं था के दंडोत प्रणाम अर्पण करता हूँ। उनकी कृपा की आहित्य की कृपा की प्रार्थना करता हूँ। तदंतर टेडी स्वामी भक्तिदास दंडी महाराज नामनिष्ठ संत श्री दास प्रभु जी और सभी वैष्णव को मेरा प्रणाम है। और so today we are discussing page number 148 जैव धर्म chapter 7 Ananta Das. Now there is a conversation going on between Ananta Das, Yadav Das. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu severely punished Chota Haridas for a completely insignificant fault, just to protect the sanctity of the renounced order. Now here, Chota Haridas was an eternal associate of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And apparently, he baked some rice from Madhavi Devi. And actually, there was no fault of his actually, but Mahaprabhu wanted to protect the sanctity of. So Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj also says, Shriman Mahaprabhu rejected Chota Haridas to establish a high ideal for practitioners of bhakti. The same immaculate ideal has also been set by the Sikh Goswamis. In Sri Rupa Goswami's literature such as Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Sri Ujjwal Nilamani, he has given the instruction to perform sadhan bhajan following in the cooling footprints of the Shrutis, personified Vedas, and the sages of Dandakaranya. Understand? Shri Sarup Damodar, Shri Rai Ramananda, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Narottam Das Thakur, Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and others are shining examples of such bhajan. How pure their lives are. Now, this also applies to our Gurudev, Nitila Parishtam Vishnu Shri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami, and also to the life of Sripad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj. They are also Sripad Anirudh Prabhuji also. Their lives are very pure. No contamination whatsoever. No lust at all. So it is proper for Suddha Bhaktas to follow such great spiritual personalities. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written as follows in his essay entitled The Depravity of the Sahajya Doctrine. A loathsome ideology is spreading insidiously in several places in Bengal. All the activities and conduct prescribed by the Sahajya doctrine are extremely corrupt and contemptible. The Jiva is Chinmay, spiritual, and its only natural dharma is Chinmay, service to Krishna. The word Sahaja means Sahaja, that which arises along with the Atma. Sahaja. The transcendental service to Krishna is Sahaja, natural for the pure Atma, because it occurs along with the Jivatma and thus it is naturally inherent. However, it is not natural in the stage of bondage to inanimate matter. Sahajas cheat others and are themselves cheated or deprived of their pure and natural love for Krishna by transforming the union of man and woman into a mundane, supposedly natural dharma. In actuality, the union of man and woman is not a natural dharma. On the contrary, in the natural dharma of the Atma, the union of the dull male and female bodies is extremely loathsome, depraved, and inappropriate conduct. What is called Sahajiya Dharma nowadays is totally immoral, contrary to saintly behavior, and opposed to Shastra. Shuddha Vaishnavas should be extremely careful in regard to this. That dharma in which the custom is to accept mantra in the left ear, in all respects, a deviation. We never find anywhere in the scriptures instructions such as one should associate with a woman in order to attain Vrajanandan. On entering into Madhur Ras, the minute conscious Jiva attains his own natural condition. And then there is no necessity whatsoever for associating with the inanimate material nature. Chota Ridas himself, being Prakriti, female, was rejected by Mahaprabhu for committing the offense of conversing in Purusha Bhava, male mood with another Prakriti. Licentious people create the path of their own sense gratification. See Antalila 2.117. But Shuddha Vaishnavas neglect them. The association of a married woman is not part of bhajan even for householders. Therefore, the association of woman has been accepted in a regulated way, free from sin for conducting household life. It is the opinion of pure Vaishnavas that male sadhaka should perform bhajan and remain separate from female sadhaka. A female sadhaka should not invite any male person to her bhajan party. Bhajan is a completely spiritual activity. When even the slightest mundane sentiment is allowed to enter, it becomes ruined. So this is actually the thing that Srila Gurudev also I saw in Parikrama, that they created one female party for bhajan and one male party. So female party, only females were singing. There were many Didis, Kamala, Mukhara Didi and all, Charu Chandrika, so many sincere Vaishnavis. And Srila Gurudev started Ganga Mata Goswamini Ashram in London, near London, I think. And still that is going on. So recently one devotee from Mumbai, he told me that my daughter has gone to England to study and she needs association and some vegetarian prasad. So I said, then Charchandrika Didi also told me that, talk to Ganga Mata Goswami Ashram. And there I was communicated maybe with Kamala Didi or I don't know, some other Didi. So anyways, the point is that the women should also be given the facility to execute Krishna consciousness. Males should not disturb them. Understand? Both should not disturb each other. Understand? It is very, very important that one should not regard himself as a male. Even the males should not regard themselves as male. Because we are Prakriti, we are meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. Whether we are in the male body or female body, we are meant for Krishna's enjoyment. So Chota Haridas was in the male body, but he is still a Prakriti, he is still the Prakriti of Krishna, the energy of Krishna. So how can he talk in a male mood to another energy of Krishna? So males and females, they all are energy of Krishna. They are Shakti of Krishna, Prakriti of Krishna, nature of Krishna. They are not the enjoyers, understand? So Chota Haridas was rejected by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave up his dear Chota Haridas forever because he associated with the woman. In one sense, to look at any object with a desire to enjoy, it is considered associating with women, Stri Sangha. It just doesn't apply to the females. Even if you look at any electronic item or any expensive furniture, dresses, ornaments, shoes, with the mood of enjoyment, it is Stri Sangha. Understand? It is sense gratification. It is Trisatya. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer of everyone, and everyone is meant for his enjoyment. A sadhaka should always remain pure and consider himself to be Krishna Das. Understand? So this is very, very important. To look lustily at any object, not just moment, but any object is actually forbidden. That's why Bhajan Rasa also Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu abandoned Chota Haridas for life because he associated with a woman. Therefore, in Prema Vivarta, Jagadananda Pandit, an eternal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, says, Jadi chaha pranaya rakhite gaurange rasane Chota Haridasero katha thake janamane. If you want to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you must always remember the incident of Chota Haridas and how he was rejected by the Lord. So always be very careful. Mahaprabhu was very strict. By chastising Chota Haridas, Sriman Mahaprabhu has imparted this lesson to the world. So actually, virakti. One quality one arises when you are on the stage of bhava is virakti. A natural distaste for material sense enjoyment is called virakti, detachment. Upon the appearance of bhava within the heart, attraction towards the spiritual dimension, chit jagat, becomes progressively stronger and one's taste for the material world gradually perishes. This is real detachment. Those who, upon the awakening of this natural detachment, adopt the external feature and dress of an initiate in order to diminish their material necessities can be called renounced Vaishnavas. But those who adopt the external feature of an initiate prior to the appearance of bhava do so unlawfully. By chastising Chota Haridas, Sriman Mahaprabhu has imparted this lesson to the world. When you are on the stage of bhava, automatically detachment will come. Prior to that, detachment will not come. So you can see that Srila Gurudev says, how can we understand the word mamata, mindness, which is the definition of prema? It cannot be explained, it can only be experienced. Mahaprabhu gave up Chota Haridas Thakur. Is Chota Haridas not Mahaprabhu's associate, helping his pastimes? Yet, we see that Mahaprabhu gave him up. People with external vision might say, Mahaprabhu is so cruel. He does not have any love and affection for his associates. He gave up Chota Haridas. And we see that later on he committed suicide by jumping in the confluence of the Ganges, Jamuna and Saraswati rivers in Prayag. When someone later gave this news to Mahaprabhu, the Lord said that is good. He should have done that. He deserved that. No one knew that after his death, Chota Haridas was coming every day to Mahaprabhu and singing beautiful Gitas, songs for him. No one could understand this. How can one understand that Sri Ramchandra gave up Sita? Or perhaps he did not give up Sita. Perhaps Sita gave up Ram. No one can understand this. Understand? So it is very difficult to understand this pastime of Chota Haridas. Chota Haridas is an eternal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But just to teach us that how sannyasis should be very careful, the future sannyasi should be careful, he gave up his own associate. But actually never gave him up. Because he used to come back and he used to sing very sweetly. So you see that another pastime also was done with Narad. Narad also, Bhagwan, Sri Ramchandra actually. Actually, Gurudev is telling one thing. That if one says, I make no distinction between ladies and men, such person is foolish. If one is sensitive to pain when a needle is stuck into his skin, then how at that stage can he feel that someone else is neither a lady or a man? Such a person simply cheats himself or herself. Understand? Like a lot of people say, oh, men and women are all equal. I don't make any distinction. That is foolishness. Srila Gurudev is telling that if one is sensitive to pain when a needle is stuck into his skin, and how can at that stage can he feel that someone else is either a lady or a man? Such a person simply cheats himself or herself. This instruction has also been given in relation to Narad Rishi and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's own associate Chota Haridas. Narad and Chota Haridas are associates and therefore can never come under the influence of lust. But they did so apparently in order to show us that even if we think we are advanced, we should be careful. Understand? Even if we are very advanced, we should be very careful of the members of opposite sex. We should not converse very closely or sit very closely, even if we are very advanced. Therefore, you should not take it lightly. If you want to cross over the ocean of birth and death, take this verse seriously. Understand? So Gurudev is telling that when the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to convince him to meet with King Prataprudra, the great King Prataprudra Maharaj, and all the associates of Mahaprabhu told him, please meet this King Prataprudra. He rejected their proposal. He told, no, I will not meet the king. And he quoted a verse. Nishkinchanasya bhagavan bhajanunmukhasya param param jagamishor bhavasagarasya sandarshinam vishainam atayoshhitam cha ahanta hanta vishabhakshana sadhu. Greatly lamenting, the Lord then informed Saram Bhattacharya, alas, for a person who is seriously desiring to cross the material ocean and engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord without material motives, seeing a materialist engaged in sense gratification or seeing a woman who is similarly interested is more abominable than drinking poison willingly. Understand? We should be very careful with the members of opposite sex. Understand? Don't look at them lustily. If you are a woman, treat every man like your brother, like your child, like your father, like your uncle. Understand? So have some type of relationship like that, some loving relationship, thinking that he is like my father or my brother. And if you are a man, then you should look upon every woman like your sister, your granddaughter, your daughter, like this, your mother, grandmother, like this. Depending on the age of that woman, you should look like with some relationship, loving relationship like that, like brother and sister relationship we should maintain with all the women actually. No harm. But don't look lusty. This verse is meant for one who is Nishkinchan, one who has given up material possessions and already has a taste for Harinam and Harikatha. If such a person who has an ambition to cross over the material ocean sees any materialistic person or a woman in the mood of enjoyment, it is more dangerous than deadly poison. That aspiring devotee has promised, I must leave sense gratification. And therefore, this verse and this instruction has been given for his benefit. Understand? So, this is a very, very important instruction Srila Gurudev is giving. That Mahaprabhu rejected his eternal associate just to teach us a lesson. Understand? Srila Gurudev says, at the same time, this Mahaprabhu sometimes became very, very strict and severe. In Puri, there was a Brahman boy, a devotee, and his name was Chota Haridas. He went to the home of an aged lady devotee, Madhavi Devi, the sister of Shiki Mahiti, who was 84 years old. Mahaprabhu could not tolerate this. Although he is a brahmachari sannyasi, he went there. Mahaprabhu said, why has he gone there? From now on, he should not come here. My door is closed to that devotee. That boy later died by committing suicide, but Mahaprabhu's heart did not melt. Everyone, including even Shri Rai Ramananda, Shri Sarup Damodar, Shri Nityananda Prabhu, were saying that his heart was very, very cruel. They all requested him to see Chota Haridas, but he was not persuaded. He was Paramahansa Puri, who was like his guru, requested him, but Mahaprabhu told him, Prabhu, I cannot live here any longer. I am going elsewhere. Govinda, bring my door open. We should leave from here at once. Prabhu, you can remain here with your associates, but I cannot remain. His heart was not at all melted. In his book Prem Vivarta, chapter 7, Jagdananda Pandit says, वैरागी भाई ग्राम्य कथा ना सुनिबे काने ग्राम्य वार्ता ना कहिबे जबे मिलिबे आने स्वप्ने ना करो भाई स्त्री संभाषण गृह स्त्री छाड़िया भाई आसिया चौवन यदि चाह प्रणय राखीते गौरांगे रसने छोटा हरिदास रो कथा थाके जन मने Palana khaibe aro, palana poribe, hridayate Radha Krishna sarvada sevive. My dear brother, you are in the renounced order of life and should not listen to talks about ordinary worldly things. Nor should you talk about worldly things when you meet others. Do not think of women even in dreams. You have accepted the renounced order of life with a vow that prohibits you to associate with women. If you wish to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you must always remember the incident of Chota Haridas and how he was rejected by the Lord. Do not eat luxurious dishes or dress in fine garments, but always remain humble and serve their lordships, Shri Radha Krishna, in your heart of hearts. Letter of instruction, text 1 purport. यदि चाह प्रणय राखीते गौरांगेर सने छोटा हरिदास होता थाके जे न मने. If you want to love and honor Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and you want his mercy to come to you, always remember the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu banishing Chota Haridas. Do you know that history? You should speak. So it is also Chota Haridas history has been told. So Srila Gurudev is telling, after he was ordered, Chota Haridas thought that he had not even a hope that he could return to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He therefore left Puri and went to Triveni Sangam at Prayag. And there he entered into the water and drowned. In spite of this, Mahaprabhu's heart was not melted. You see that after some time, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the ocean to take bath. And there he heard a beautiful song in a beautiful melody. And thought, oh, this is a melody of Chota Haridas. Where is he? He asked his associates, where is Chota Haridas now? They told him he went to drown in the Triveni at Prayag. He was completely hopeless because you did not give him darshan. He therefore went to Triveni and drowned there. Mahaprabhu replied, if anyone acts as he did, this will be his destination. I cannot tolerate such behavior. His associate said there was no offense on his part because even Rai Ramananda was was with very beautiful teenage girls and they were naked. He used to decorate them for hours and hours. He would teach them how to dance for Lord Jagannath and in that dance to express the different moods of the gopis. Mahaprabhu replied that Rai Ramananda is a Rai Ramananda. No Maya can influence him. Similarly, Advaita Acharya, Shivas Pandit and Bhavananda Rai were all with ladies, their wives, and Mahaprabhu was not angry with them. He never corrected them like this. Why then did he correct Chota Haridas? This is because Chota Haridas was like a sannyasi. Sannyasis should not act like this, and brahmacharis should not act in this way. Nowadays, we see the result. Sannyasi and brahmacharis are falling down in this way. Mahaprabhu only pretended to reject Chota Haridas. Chota Haridas was his associates. He was liberated. There was actually no offense on his part, but Mahaprabhu wanted to teach everyone by this example. He wanted to show that he cannot tolerate this behavior. Even if a married person is lusty, Mahaprabhu cannot tolerate it. You can be a family person, but don't be attached. Ramchandra was with Sita for 14 years, but he had no son. Mahaprabhu is therefore teaching that those who want to have love and affection for him, those who want his mercy should abide by this prohibition. We should try to know all these principles of bhakti. Try to give up all your worldly desires and only keep the desire to serve Krishna. If your aim and objective is fixed, you can go on progressing and developing your Krishna consciousness. If any kind of problems come, don't stop your practice of bhakti. We should try to know the objective and mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was so merciful, but he was also somewhat hard. So Gurudev is asking, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the singing of Chota Haridas, where was the singing coming from? So Srila Gurudev is telling Chota Haridas was there singing by soul. He was a liberated soul. He was singing and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hearing him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hearing and others also, but they were in confusion. They asked, where is the sound coming from? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied that it was coming from Chota Haridas. So like this is a very, very good lesson for us. So on numerous occasions, Srila Gurudev has instructed us to be very careful, especially sannyasis. So here, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati also has explained about this. So, anyways, I will carry on with our Deva Dharma. Yadavdas, is it proper to construct a monastery and establish the worship of a deity after one has entered the renounced order? Then Srila Ananda is saying, no, a qualified disciple who has entered the renounced order should maintain his existence by begging every day. He should not involve himself in constructing a monastery or in other grand enterprises. He can live anywhere, either in a secluded hut or in a temple of a householder. He should remain aloof from all affairs that require money, and he should constantly chant Shri Harinam without offense. So it is very clearly told here that a qualified disciple who has entered the renounced order should maintain his existence by begging every day. Understand? Means every day he must go out and beg. Understand? He should not have any job or any business. Like the six Goswamis, like you see that our Gaur Kishan Babaji Maharaj, how he was. Like the Sikh Goswami, he spent 24 hours a day doing bhajan, and like them, he effortlessly maintained his life by Madhukari Bhiksha, begging from householders to obtain just enough to survive. It's called Madhukari. Madhu means honeybees, Madhukari. Like honeybees collect honey from some different flowers. The person in sannyas order should also beg from house to house. Srila Gurudev also used to do bhiksha after sannyas. Srila Gurudev tells how is one nice incident about his bhiksha. The seva and puja in the mud, as well as Shri Navadvip Dham Parikrama and other activities, used to run on whatever alms came from doing Madhukari. So even you see that our Parikrama, Navadvip Dham Parikrama, Brajamandal Parikrama, they all are depending on Diksha, Madhukari. Before Sridham Navadvip Parikrama, I went with Param Pujyapat Shri Srimad Narsingha Maharaj to Sri Rampur and other towns near Calcutta to preach and beg alms. After preaching and performing Bhiksha for 15 days, we returned to Shri Uddharan Gaudiya Math, having collected a total of 250 rupees, which at that time was a large sum of money. As soon as I arrived, I offered my pranam at Paramaradhyatam Srila Gurudev's lotus feet. After giving his blessings, he asked how was the preaching. The preaching went very well, I replied. We collected about 250 rupees. Guruji was pleased. Sometime later, Pujyapat Narsingha Maharaj came before Guruji, offered him pranam and put the donated rupees in Shri Gurudev's hand. Shri Gurudev asked, how much is it? 225 rupees, replied Param Pujyapat Narsingha Maharaj. Where are the remaining 25 rupees? Asked Shri Gurudev. I kept some rupees for my personal expenses, replied Maharaj. Bring those donated rupees right now and give them to me, said Shri Gurudev. Sripad Narsingha Maharaj was somewhat angry and said, can't we keep even a few rupees for our immediate expenses? Of course, replied Shri Gurudev. But first, please kindly give them to me. Pujyapat Maharaj resentfully went to his bhajan kutir, brought back remaining 25 rupees and threw them down in front of Shri Gurudev. Guruji picked up the rupees and counted them and then began to return those very same rupees. We are just going to return them, then what was the point in taking them in first place? Demanded Sripad Narsingha Maharaj. Srila Gurudev became quite grave and said, the food and wealth of sensuous people contains poison which ordinary people cannot digest. It has been written in the Shastra that when a sadhaka eats food from a Vishayi, his heart becomes wicked and it is not possible to remember Bhagavan with such a disturbed mind. Therefore, sadhakas should always be careful. Raghunath Das Goswami is direct proof of this. He did not accept the money sent by his own father, because although his father appeared to be a Vaishnava, he was actually a materialist, Vaishnava Praya. Even excellent sadhakas have been deviated and have fallen from the realm of bhajan through eating the food of sensuous people. That is why I have taken this money from you. It was acquired from sense enjoyers and therefore it was mixed with poison. Now I have purified it and I am giving it back to you. There is no harm steal it anymore. Disaster is guaranteed if even one paisa, one penny which has been collected in the name of Shri Krishna, Shri Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas is used in one's own service. I do not use even a single paisa from donations for my own purposes. Who can engage donated wealth in the service of Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas? Only a highly qualified Vaishnava who has offered his body, mind, words and everything in the feet of Srila Gurudev and Bhagavan, who is unconditionally surrendered at the lotus feet of Bhagavan and who is empowered in bhajan. Ordinary Matavasis, temple devotees cannot. When Pujyapat Narsingha Maharaj heard this, he became thoroughly ashamed and all misgivings were dispelled from his heart. Bowing his head, he said with complete humility, "Please forgive me. I never took this matter so seriously. Whatever you are saying is completely correct. I will follow this instruction for the rest of my life." The lesson is to be learned from this is that one should never at any time utilize one's own enjoyment money or commodities received from worldly people. One should offer them at the divine feet of Gurudev or of equally elevated Vaishnavas. Because such Vaishnavas can engage these commodities in the service of Bhagavan, otherwise their poison is deadly for the sadhaka. Shriman Mahaprabhu has said, Vishairanna khaile malina hayamana malina mana haile nahe Krishna smarana. When one eats food offered by sensuous or worldly people, the mind becomes contaminated and in that state one cannot remember Krishna. Pratigraha kabuna kariba rajadhana vishairanna kaile dushta mana mana dushta hele nahi Krishna smarana Krishna smriti vinaya nishpala jivana. One should never accept alms from royalty or wealthy people because when one eats such food, the mind becomes polluted. A polluted mind cannot remember Krishna, and without remembrance of Krishna, one's whole life is a failure. Understand? So very, very good instruction out here. So now, Yadav Das asking question. What do you call renunciants who set up a monastery and then live like householders? Ananta Das, they may be called Vantashi, those who eat their own vomit. Understand? This is a term called Vantashi. Vantashi means generally our vomit is very disgusting. Understand? So, but despite giving up everything, then again we are accepting sense objects. This is called eating your own vomit. Nishkam Karma Yoga is superior to Karma Sannyas. Even if a Jnani performs Nishkam Karma Yoga, there is no defect. Actually, its performance further purifies his heart and he becomes more established in Jnana. One may ask, if a Karma Sannyasi is experiencing some disturbance in the heart due to worldly desires, is he forbidden to engage in action, Karma to purify it, to pacify it? Shri Bhagavan answers that such a disturbance in the heart or chitta of a Karma Sannyasi is an obstacle to the cultivation of Jnana. If he accepts sense objects having once given them up, he becomes a Vantashi, one who eats his own vomit. Understand? So, one should not again accept the sense objects if he has given them up. Understand? That is the definition of Vantashi. So, one who gives us sannyas and falls into household life is a Vantashi. Bhagavatam says, Yah pravrajya gruhat purvam tri vargavapanat puna yadi se vedatan bhikshu sabai vantashi apatratpa. One who accepts the sannyas order gives up three principles of materialistic activities in which one indulges in the field of household life, namely dharma, religion, artha, economic gain, and kama, sense gratification. One who first accepts sannyas but then returns to such materialistic activities is called a Vantashi, or one who eats his own vomit. He is indeed a shameless person. Understand? So this actually, we should be very, very careful. Once we give up the sense objects, we should not try to accept that. So this is actually a good book, actually. Jaiva Dharma actually summary study of all the books actually. Anyways, Yadadas is asking question. Then are they no longer to be considered Vaishnavas? And thus, what benefit is there in their association when their behavior is contrary to Shastra and Vaishnava Dharma? They have given up pure bhakti and have adopted a hypocritical lifestyle. What relationship could a Vaishnava have with such people? Yadodas, how can one say that they have given up Vaishnavism? As long as you don't give up the chanting of Harinam. Anandadas, Harinam and Namaprad are two different things. Pure Harinam is quite distinct from offensive chanting and only has the eternal appearance of Harinam. It is an offense to commit sins on the strength of chanting Srinam. If one chants Srinam and at the same time commits sinful activities, thinking that the power of Srinam will exempt him from sinful reactions, he is committing Namaprana. This is not Shuddha Harinam, and one should flee far from such offensive chanting. Yadudas. Then, is the domestic life of such people not to be considered Krishna-centered? Never, Anantadas confirmed. There is no room for hypocrisy in a Krishna-centered devotional life. There can only be complete honesty and simplicity with no trace of offense. Yadudas, is such a person inferior to a Grasta Bhakta? Anantas, he is not even a devotee. So there is no question of comparing him with any Bhakta. Yadudas, how may he be rectified? Anantas, he will be counted among the Bhaktas again when he gives up all these offenses and constantly chants Srinam and sheds tears of repentance. So this is very, very important. One should be very, very careful. नामापराध युक्तानां नामानेव हरन्त्यगम ततो अविश्रांत प्रयुक्तानि तान्य अर्थकराणि च. Actually, we should give up namaparad. Last time also we discussed namaparad. There are 10 namaparas are there. Mainly there are 10 namaparas. So it is also told that Padma Puran says, Hare Rapi Aparadhaya Kuryati Padapam Shala Nama Shraya Kadajisya Tadati Vasanamata Namno hi Sarvasurudo hi Aparadhat Patatyada Nama Parada Yuktana Namanyeva Randyagam Avishranta Prayuktani Tanyavartha Karani Cha. That wretched person who commits seva aparad at the lotus feet of Sri Hari can become freed from his offense if he takes shelter of holy name. Every kind of aparad is nullified by service to the holy name. All perfection is attained by chanting the holy name without anarthas and with a sense of one's relationship with the Lord, continuously and uninterrupted, like an unbroken stream of oil. कृष्णेर श्रीमूर्ति प्रति अपराध कोरी नामाश्रय श्री अपराधे अजायतरी नामापराध जतना में हयक्षय अविश्रांत नामे लहरे सर्व सिद्धियोयो. One should keep on chanting holy name all the time, then one can become free from offenses. So we should be very careful about namaparad. We should not associate with the non-devotees and one should avoid seva aparad and nama aparad. This is the instruction. So, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu also, all this has been explained. And we are discussing in Madhurya Kadambini also that how we should become free from nama aparad. Babaji Mahasaya, if Grasta Bhaktas are situated under the rules and regulations of Varnashram Dharma, if a Grasta is excluded from Varnashram Dharma, is he not barred from becoming a Vaishnava? Anantas, Vaishnava Dharma is very liberal. All jivas have the right to Vaishnava Dharma. That is why it is known as Jaiva Dharma. So this means this Jaiva Dharma or this Vaishnava Dharma is for everyone. Everyone can practice this Vaishnava Dharma or Jaiva Dharma, irrespective of what birth you are, what country you are born. You see so many Americans and Europeans, they are chanting Hare Krishna. Like Shri Gurudev is telling, as far as the advancement of material science is concerned, America is at the forefront. But are Americans happy? If they are, why they are quarreling with each other? And why do so many of them commit suicide? This is $1 million question. Why so many suicides even in America and Europe and so many advanced countries in Japan? We should see that material advancement cannot make us happy. Understand? So Jaiva Dharma is for everyone. It's for everyone, even for the Americans, Europeans, everything is there. Like Gurudev is telling, there are not different gods for Americans, Indians, Christians, Hindus and Muslims. There is only one. The names are different, but they have similar meanings. What is the meaning of God? G means generator, O means operator, D means destroyer. In both the Sanskrit and Arabic language, God has the same meaning. Within a second, he can create, demolish, and again create entire worlds and universes. He is very powerful and merciful. He also has some form, although it is not worldly or material. Understand? So this Jaiva Dharma is for everyone. I remember Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prediction and became so pleased. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote very hopefully, when will that day come when white people, that is Europeans and Americans, join with all others and loudly sing Mahaprabhu's Kirtan? So I can see that day has come. Understand? So Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, they all actually contributed to satisfying the dream of Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I am making the Americans wear brahmachari robes, Swami Maharaj wrote to Gurudev, and shave up. If a brahmachari from India dresses as an American, he will not be appreciated. So tell Vinod Kumar to come as a brahmachari. There are enough overcoats and warm clothes here. If it is necessary, buy him one good blanket and one pair of shoes, not made of leather. That means do not spend more than ₹100 on him, including the journey to Kolkata. So out of 375, if ₹100 is spent for Vinod Kumar, 275 remains. So you'll see that Swami Maharaj was telling that send one brahmachari to America, but he should not dress like Westerners, but like Indians only. Buy him a blanket and shoes and send him. You see that Americans, Europeans, they all are doing Sankirtan now. It was a desire of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that Americans perform Kirtan in Sridham Mayapur, and that opportunity has now come. Unfortunately, those who have intruded in Mayapur consider it to be their personal property. These days, others are restricted from visiting that place. Srila Keshav Maharaj is to deal with these Guru Tyagis, those who renounce their Guru, or Guru Bhogis, those who enjoy the property of the Guru, with sword in hand. Anyway, last year he mentioned that he would arrange 5 acres of land for me in Sridham Mayapur. You are present at that time. If you help me in this matter, I intend to make an ashram in Mayapur. American boys and girls can visit and stay there and receive proper training. By your cooperation, preaching activities can be done very nicely. Therefore, I am eager to know the details of your constitution. So Srila Swami Maharaj, he said, I want some land in Mayapur. I want to set up an ashram for American boys and girls, Westerners and, foreign devotees. So how merciful he was. This dharma is for everyone. It's for everyone, not for just Indians. Now, Vaishnava dharma is very liberal. All jivas have the right to Vaishnava dharma. That is why it is known as Jaiva dharma. Means for even outcast can take up Vaishnava dharma and live as grasthas, although they are not part of Varnashram dharma. Outcast. Outcast means they are out of this society. Anteja. So we'll see that here, Anteja means those are outcast. So when It is not true that I only appear in the land of Bharat, India. According to necessity, I appear by my will among devas, animals, birds, and all the species. Therefore, do not think that I do not appear among Mlecha, Anteja, and other outcasts. All these pitiable people also accept a certain degree of dharma as their swadharma and natural religion. So many times people say that God appears only in India. So Bhagavan is telling, no, I appear. Today morning only I was reading actually the commentary of Bhagavatam, and in that verse comes, Itham nrutiryaga deva jashavatare lokan vibhavesya hansi jagat pratipan dharmam mahapurusha pas yugana vrittam channa kalu yadavatri uvate sapta. So Bhagavan appears in the devas also, demigods also, like we took incarnation of Vaman Deva, that was demigod. He appears in the species of animals, like he took the boar incarnation, Varaha incarnation, or the Singha incarnations, like animal. He came like birds, and also Jashavatare, like the fish, Mean avatar and tortoise incarnations. They are water-dwelling animals. So therefore, Bhagavan doesn't appear between Mlecha and Antaja. Don't think like that. Everyone is accepting some religious principles. I make a special endeavor to establish the system of dharma among them. In India, people regularly perform their swadharma in the form of varnashram dharma. Because of this, I make a special endeavor to establish the system of dharma among them. For this reason, all the charming avatars such as the Yuga avatars or the Ansha avatars, the partial avatars can be seen to manifest only in India. In places where there is no varnashram dharma, people cannot properly practice Nishkam Karma Yoga or its goals, Jnana Yoga, or its highest fruit, Bhakti Yoga. Still, any tinge of Bhakti which manifests among the outcast, Antaja, can be attributed to the sudden spiritual faith, emotional faith generated by the mercy of my Bhakta. So you'll see that Bhagavan did not take incarnation in, say, America or Europe, but still Europeans and Americans are doing Bhakti. And this Bhakti is attributed to association of some high-class devotee like Gurudev or Srila Gurudev or Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Understand? Sripad Dandi Maharaj and other Vaishnavas. So they must have received association of some high-class Vaishnava. That's why they have Bhakti. Understand? So Bhagavan is also merciful to even the outcast. Because it's like Gurudev is telling, among human beings, Vaishyas, agriculturists and merchants, Shudras, laborers, women, and even outcasts have attained the supreme abode. Vritrasura was a demon. In previous life, he was Chitraketu Maharaj. But Vritrasura was a demon. He attained the lotus feet of Krishna. His prayers are so wonderful. Prahlad Maharaj was born in the dynasty of demons as the son of atheist Hiranyakashipu. Vrishaparva. And Bali Maharaj were also born in a demon dynasty as well as Banasur. Vrishaparva. So you'll see that actually Vrishaparva actually is one name of Krishna also. Like in Vishnu Sahasranam, Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan says, Vrishahi Vrishabho Vishnur Vrishaparva Vrishodhara Vardhano Vardhamanascha Vivakta Shruti Sagara. Bhagavan is the best of the yogis, so it's called Vrishaparva. That is a name. But Bhagavatam actually talks about this also. Vrishaparva, Bali Maharaj, Banasur, Maya, Vibhishan, Sugriva, Hanuman, Jambavan, Gajendra, Jatayu, Tuladar, Dharmavyat, Kubja, the gopis in Vrindavan, and the wives of the Brahmanas who were performing sacrifice. All this was the mercy of Krishna. So Vrishaparva was a Danava. Abandoned by his natural mother, he was adopted by a great sage, and thus he became a devotee of Lord Vishnu. So Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha Anuched 239 is explaining the name of how Vrishaparva was a Dano. Dano means descendant of Danu, demon. But he was abandoned by his natural mother, and he was adopted by a great sage, and thus he became a devotee of Vishnu. His story is recounted in another Puran. Bali had the association of Lord Vaman and Prahlad Maharaj. This was because he understood the philosophy of devotion. Parnasur had the association of uh, Bali, Shiva, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Afterwards, his many arms were cut off. He understood the glories of Lord Vishnu. He attained the association of the great devotee, Lord Shiva. This was having the association of the Supreme Lord himself. So basically, without the association of the devotees, you cannot become a devotee. Understand? So this Vrishaparva, he was a demon actually, but he received the mercy. So Vrishaparva's reference is coming in Mahabharata Adi Parva also. The great and handsome Asura who was celebrated as Vrishaparva became the earthly king Dirgha Prajna. O king, the younger brother of Vrishaparva, Ajaka, became celebrated on earth as King Malla. The mighty Asura named Aswagriha became the earthly king Rochaman, celebrated Sukshma of intelligence and fame, achieved fame on the earth as the ruler Brand. The prominent Asura named Puhund incarnated on earth as the famous king Senabindu. The strongest of the Asuras named Isrupa was widely known on the earth as the king Prajapati. You'll see that actually at the time of Mahabharata, many great kings, they were demons actually, incarnations of demons. Understand? So as demons, but they were acting, they were dressed like kings, but they were all demons, first class demons. Understand? So anyways, Vrishaparva. So here, there are others who abandon Varnashram Dharma due to their misdeeds. If they and their children take shelter of Shuddha Bhakti by the influence of Sadhu Sangha, they may become Grasta Bhaktas, although they are also outside Varnashram. So we see that there are two kinds of Grasta Bhaktas. One who is part of Varnashram and one who is excluded from Varnashram. Yadodas, which is superior of these two? Whoever has the most bhakti is superior. If neither has any bhakti, then the person who is following Varnashram is superior from the Vyavaharik or relative point of view, because at least he has some religious principles. Whereas the other is an outcast with no religious principles. However, from the Paramarthik or absolute spiritual perspective, both of them are fallen because they have no bhakti. Yadodas. Does a Grasta have the right to wear the garments of a mendicant while he is still a householder? So basically, Varnashrama Acharvata, Purushena Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. Like Gurudev used to like this verse very much. Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. He's telling that if someone is following Varnashram Dharma but not hearing Harikatha, then actually is just uselessly endeavoring. Gurudev is telling, Dharma swanashtita pumsam vishvaksena kathasu ya notpadeti ratim shrameva kevalam. Duties. Dharma executed by men, regardless of occupation, are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the Supreme Lord. Following a system of religion that does not awaken one's Krishna consciousness or God consciousness is merely a waste of time and labor. Understand? So Shamarani is telling, if someone is following all the principles of Varnashram, following all the regulations and following the Vedas, but he doesn't have any taste for hearing from the topmost sadhus, the Gurudev is correcting. Even if he is chanting and serving in so many ways, even if he is reading the books, but if he does not have any taste for hearing from pure sadhus about the sweet Leela and glories of Krishna, then all of his activities come to zero. Yes, Sri Gurudev is telling. You should always know that chanting alone will not do. It will not be first class or pure. If you are hearing Harikatha, then your chanting of the holy name will be pure. The holy name is always pure. Purna Shuddha, Nitya Mukta, Abhinatva Nama Namino. The Nam is always Krishna himself. They are not different, but we cannot realize this. We must always be hearing and hearing from realized souls. Narad can tell anyone and any creature, even just by looking at him, oh, you should know, you should now be a high-class Mahabhagavat. Simply by telling someone this, he can make that person become like himself. A Madhyam Bhagavat cannot do this. He will give his association and Harikatha. A Kanishta Adhikari can only tell that you should come to my Gurudev and you should come to this pure devotee. He can only tell this much. On one hand, all this is mercy, but Narad can at once say, oh, Krishna Prem should come and you should dance and sing. He has the capacity to tell that because he has controlled Krishna in his heart by his services. He therefore is a Maha Bhagavat. Srila Gurudev is explaining this. Following Varnashram Dharma but not having any taste for Harikatha, even chanting and hearing, even chanting but not having taste for Harikatha, then it's a waste of time. Understand? So now Yadav Das is asking a question. Does a Grasta have the right to wear garments of a mendicant while he is still a householder? Then Nanda is telling that no, if he does, he is guilty on two counts. He cheats himself and he cheats the world. If a Grasta adopts the dress of a mendicant, he simply affronts and ridicules genuine mendicants who wear the dress of a renounced order. Yadav Das, Babaji Mahashay, do the Shastras describe any system for accepting the renounced order? Andas. It is not clearly described, but people of all castes can become Vaishnavas. But according to Shastra, only those who are twice born can accept sannyas. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 7 Canto, 11 chapter, 35th verse. Narad describes the separate characteristics of each of the different varnas and then concludes with this statement. Yasyad lakshanam proktam pumso varnavi venjakam yad anyatrapi drishyeta tad tena varnirdeshit. One is considered to belong to the varna whose characteristics he possesses, even if he has appeared in different caste. The practice of offering sannyas to men who, although born of other castes, possess the symptoms of Brahmanas is occurring on the basis of this verdict of the Shastras. If a man born of a different caste can truly possess the symptoms of a Brahmana and is given sannyas, then it must be avowed that this system is approved by Shastra. Hare Krishna. We will stop here on page number 151. Thank you very much for attending today's class. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhavacha pradhanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. If anyone has any comments or questions, you can ask. 21st is Ekadashi actually. So our calendar is showing that 21st is Ekadashi. It's a very important Ekadashi because it is coming in the Kartik month. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavad Prams. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
March 21st is Friday. 21st.
21st is Ekadashi, right?
Yes. Gurudev also said. No, I'm just saying. So today is Tuesday, 19, 20, 20. Friday. Okay, so we are seeing you March on Friday for Chaitanya Charitam Lilamrita. I thought it was Thursday, sorry.
Right. 21st October is Ekadashi. It's called Rama Ekadashi.
Friday.
Next day you are supposed to do Paran after sunrise. I see that all calendars are showing 21st October is Shri Rama Ekadashi. Rama is the name of Lakshmi Devi. Understand? And 18th October, today is the appearance day of Shri Radha Kunda, Bahulashtami. Understand? So,
yes,
I think Shripada Dandi Maharaj spoke, right, today about Radha Kunda?
Yes, Maharaj spoke earlier today about Radha Radhakund appearance.
And tomorrow is actually the appearance day of Shri Veerachandra Prabhu. Veerachandra was the son of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. And also, tomorrow is the appearance day of Srila Srimad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, who is the sannyas guru of Param Gurudev. Also, tomorrow is the disappearance day of Shri Shakhi Charan Das Babaji Maharaj. Maybe some, I don't know much about him, but he may be our Gaudiya Sampradaya. Maybe Chaitanya Gaudiya might be showing like this. So tomorrow is also a very auspicious day. Today is certainly an auspicious day. Today, Bahulashtamī day, actually, a lot of devotees take bath. They take bath in Radha Kund, actually, Bahulashtamī day. And so much, actually, great fruit is there. Actually, Gurudev was telling that Shri Radha Kund is within Shri Bahulavan. And for this reason, there is a custom to take bath in Shri Radha Kund on the day of Bahulashtamī. A huge assembly of people take bath in Shri Radha Kund on that day. When Bhagavan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered around the different forests, he became overwhelmed upon seeing the natural beauty of this place. A very beautiful and heart-rending description of this is given in Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. When Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered Bahulavan, he was surrounded by the beautiful cows grazing there. They stopped eating the grass and, full of prema, began to bellow and lick his body. Seeing the affectionate vatsalya of the cows, Mahaprabhuji became absorbed in the ecstatic waves of prema. When they were somewhat pacified, he began caressing the cows, who also did not want to give up his association, but were forced to with great difficulty by the cowherdsmen. At that time, Mahaprabhu was deeply absorbed in Bhava and was weepingly calling out, Kothai Krishna, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? Flocks of deer and does gathered there and without any fear began affectionately licking Mahaprabhu's limbs. The Shuka, Sari, Kokila, Papiha, bees began singing the fifth note and the peacocks proceeded to dance before Mahaprabhu. The trees and creepers became jubilant and filled with birds, new leaves and flowers. With their arms like twigs and branches, they lovingly offered their flowers and fruit at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Seeing these ecstatic emotions of the moving and non-moving entities of Vrindavan, Mahaprabhu became even more absorbed in bhava and calling out in loud voice, Chant Krishna, chant Krishna. All the moving and non-moving entities of Raja echoed his words. Sometimes Mahaprabhu clasped hold of the necks of the deer and does and cried piteously. They gazed at Mahaprabhu's lotus face with love-filled glances and eyes full of tears. Advancing a little further, Mahaprabhu saw Shuka and Sari sitting on two opposite branches. A prema kalaha, loving quarrel glorifying Shri Radha Krishna Yugal, was taking place between them. Shuka, my Krishna is Madan Mohan, the enchanter of the mind of Cupid. Sari, yes, he is, as long as my Radha is at his left side. Otherwise, he is only Madan. Shuka, my Krishna held Giriraj on his finger. Sari, because my Radha transmitted Shakti into him, otherwise how could I have done so? Shuka, my Krishna is the life of the whole universe. Sari, my Radha is the life of that life. Shuka, my Krishna's head is decorated with peacock feather. Sari, only because of my Radha's name is marked on that feather. Shuka, the peacock feather on my Krishna's head leans to the left. Sari, because it wants to bow down to my Radha's feet. Shuka, my Krishna is the moon. Sari, my Radha is the trap to capture that moon. Shuka, there is no need to quarrel uselessly. Let both of us together glorify Yugal Kishore. Sari, I accept it with great pleasure. In Govind Lilamrut, Shuka says, Saundaryam dalanadi dhairya dalanam Leela Stambini Tiryam Kandukita Trivaryam Amadaha Pare Parardham Guna Sheelam Sarva Jananuravanam Yadyasyaram Asmat Prabhu Vishwam Vishwajanina Kirtir Avatat Krishna Jaganmohana. Shuka then said, he whose unparalleled beauty plunders the wealth of patience of an innumerable multitude of women, whose world famous glory astounds even Lakshmi Devi, whose strength turns Giriraj Govardhan into a child's toy, who has unlimited qualities, whose simple disposition entertains everyone, whose glory substantiates the welfare of the entire universe. May Prabhu Jagamohan protect the entire world. In Govind Lilamrut Sari says, Shri Radhikaya Priyata Swarupata Sushilata Nardana Chaturi Gunali Sampat Kavita Charajate Jagan Mohana Chitta Mohini. Hearing the Sarika replied, Shuka, Shri Radhika's prema, beauty, dancing, excellent calmness, expertise in music, the wealth of qualities and poetic compositions. In other words, her erudition are all so attractive that she attracts the heart of Krishna, who enchants the heart of the entire universe. Shuka then said in Govindanamrut 13.31, Mamshidhari Jagannari Chittahari Sasarike Vihari Gopanari Virchian Madan Mohana. Sarike, all glories to Shri Madan Mohan, the enchanter of Cupid, who carries a bamshi, a flute. He steals the heart of all the women in the entire universe and enjoys and roams with the gopis. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became so overwhelmed upon hearing this love quarrel between the Shuka and Sari, male and female parrot, that he could not maintain his equilibrium and fell down on the earth in a faint. His companions somehow brought him back to consciousness, after which he continued on his parikrama of Braja. So actually, this all happened in this great forest of Bahulavan. Because Radha Kunda is in Bahulavan, that's why Bahulashtami day, so many devotees bathe there actually. Srila Bhakti Sridhar Maharaj also in his Prem Dham Stotram, verse 43 is describes this pastime. Sharika Shukoktu Kautukadhya Lasya Lapitam Radhika Vyatita Kama Deva Kama Mohitam Premavasya Krishna Baba Bhakta Ruchamatkaram Premadhama Devameva Naumi Gaura Sundaram. Sharika Shukoktu Kautukadhya Lasya Lapitam Radhika Vyatita Kama Deva Kama Mohitam Prema Vasha Krishna Bhava Bhaktaru Chamatkaram Prema Dama Deva Meva Naumi Gaura Sundaram Prema Dama Deva Meva Naumi Gaura Sundaram Premadama Devameva Naumi Gaura Sundaram. He was the subject of the witty and humorous conversation between the parrot and his mate, in which the supreme Cupid Shri Krishna is described as bewildered by longing desire in the absence of Shri Radhika. Through this dialogue, the Lord filled the devotees' hearts with wonder by revealing that the sweetness of Krishna's character is that he can be subdued by love. I sing with joy and unending glories of my golden Lord Gaurachandra, the beautiful, the divine abode of pure love. Understand? So this very auspicious day, appearance of Radha Kunda. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpataru vishya kripa sindhya bhutana bhare Krishna. Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Marge. Thank you so much.
And
And Hare Krishna, dear. Thank you for training. Marge, please can you do Jai Diwani? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग अंदर विका गिरधारी श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जी की जय. जय नित्य वृष्ट जगत गुरु शिष्य भक्तिदान नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज गुरुदेव की जय. तिला वृष्टम विष्णुपाश शिष्य भक्तिदान वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. तिला वृष्टम विष्णुपाश शिष्य मत भक्ति वेदांत त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. तिला वृष्टम विष्णुपाश शिष्य मत गौर गोविंद गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. तिला वृष्टम विष्णुपाश शिष्य भक्तिदान स्वामी महाराज की जय. वितला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाश श्रीमद भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. वितला वृष्टम विष्णुपाश श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी रूपा ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी को गोवर्धन द्वादश वर्णात्मक मंडल की जय. गंगा जमुना तुलसी भक्त देवी की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सृजन चक्र जू की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, त्रिंडी स्वामी शिष्य भक्तिदान दंडी महाराज की जय, नाम निष्ठ संत श्री अनिरुद्धास प्रभु जी की जय, श्री कार्तिक व्रत की जय, ऊर्जा व्रत की जय, उद्देश्वरी श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय, निताई श्री बहुलाष्टमी की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि Hare Krishna. So all of us mentally today take bath in Radha Kunda because we are away from Radha Kunda. But actually, Mathura Mahatmya, this is a book compiled by Sri Rupa Goswami. Sri Rupa Goswami quotes a verse from Padma Puran in Kartik Mahatmya. Govardhane Girauram me Radha Kundam Priyam Hare Kartike Bahulashtamyam Tatra Snatva Hare Priyam. In the Padma Puran, Kartik Mahatmya it is said, Radhakunda by beautiful Govardhan hill is dear to Lord Hari. A person who bathes there on the Baulashtami day of the month of Kartik is also dear to Lord Hari. So there is some scriptural evidence. In Hari Bhakti Vilas, 15th Vilas also it is told. What is Bahulashtami actually? यासा प्रति अब्दम आयाति श्रावणे बहुलाष्टमी संगता रोहिण्याक्षेण मुक्ति फलप्रदा. When, as happens every year, there is a day when the star Rohini is conjoined with the moon during the month of Shravan. That day is called Bahulashtami. That day brings liberation to the people. So Bahulashtami is, this description is given. So very good. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandas.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you. Shripad Bhaktivedanta Vishwadita Maharaj ki jai. Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitam Pavani Vaishnavi Vaishnavi.
Vishaka Didi ki jai. Dandas. Thank you.
Sorry Maharaj. Gurudev sent this, but we're not sure what it's for. I don't know if you can see.
Sure, let me. Medicine, huh?
Yeah, ji.
Oh, Arogya Churna. Arogya Churna is actually, it's actually very good medicine actually, Arogya Churna. I will send you the directions. I remember once I made a chart actually for Arogya Churna. I will send you that in English, in Hindi and Kannada I had made. It's actually anti-corona. It's anti-corona. That was distributed free of charge by Shripad Dandi Maharaj during corona pandemic. So many people's lives were saved by that. Because not only corona, they saved people from corona, but there are also some side effects. A lot of complaints are coming even from the people who had corona, and they're telling that we still have breathing problem, breathlessness. All these problems are they are still actually facing. So this Arogya Churna is a good way of Arogya Churna is a very good way of getting rid of many diseases actually. I understand. So I will forward that PDF, which is multilingual actually. Actually, what is there that it helps improve health in case of running nose, cold, cough, and related diseases. Boost bodily immunity. Its ingredients are giloy. Giloy is actually very potent medicine. Parijat leaves. Parijat is the tree which Lord Krishna brought from Dwarka. Then there also dried ginger, pippali. Pippali is long pepper. Pippali. Pippali is a very strong medicine. Chaitanya Charitamrita apparently mentions pippali. Pippali was very long actually, very pungent taste it has. So pippali, cough and cold and fever, pippali khanda. Like for example, Chaitanya Bhagavat mentions this medicine pippali. Karila pippali khanda kafa nivarite ulati aro kafa badila dete. Mahaprabhu is telling, I made the medicine pippali khanda to clear excess mucus. This pippali is actually clears the excessive mucus in your system. But instead of clearing the mucus in the body, it created more. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is studying, I made an attempt to preach to the suffering living entities of this world. Question is coming from Delhi that is this medicine available on Amazon? Actually, it is one small shop in Malleshwaram, who's a friend of Sripad Dandi Maharaj. They make this medicine from some white in India. It may or may not be available on Amazon. I'll check and let you know. But we can send it, I think, I hope. But sending to China may be difficult because there may be so many checks, but it's available. It's not very expensive. So Mahaprabhu said, I made an attempt to preach to the suffering living entities of this world a truth that has never been before revealed. But rather than accepting this, they took the heavy burden of offenses on their shoulders. I wanted to preach for the eternal benefit of the residents of Nadia, but they have not understood my intention and seem to have become bewildered. So they are opposing the preaching of pure devotional service. The Vedic literature prescribes the medicine Pippali-Kanta to cure a person who is afflicted by excessive mucus. But rather than curing the disease, the medicine has simply increased the mucus. The materialistic persons of this world worship imaginary gods to increase their sense gratification. They do not perform any activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, but simply remain busy gratifying their own senses. They consider sense gratification as the goal of life and do not inquire about the rarely attained loving devotional service of Krishna. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting Gopi, 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 some of his students, Sanskrit students, wanted to beat him up. Mahaprabhu said that I am gave them Pippali to remove their mucus, but it has increased. They have not understood why I am chanting Gopi, 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 because gopis are pure devotees. So anyways, this has Pippali Khanda. Dried ginger is also there. In Latin name for Pippali is Piper longum, Lin. Black pepper is also there. Tulsi is there also. Lavanga. Lavanga is close. Cinnamon is there. Ajwain, caraway, bishop's weed or carom. There are different names for it. Turmeric is a great antibiotic and like a steroid only. A natural steroid. Licorice is there. Licorice, Yashti Madhu. Cumin seeds are there. Arjuna bark. Arjuna bark is for the heart. Arjuna's had a very strong heart. So Arjuna bark is actually the Arjuna tree you might have seen, white. You type Arjuna tree, then you'll see that white, it has white bark. Very fair color tree. Bilva leaves. Bilva is very dear to Lord Shiva. Fennel seeds are there. Vayu Vidanga, Embellia ripes, and neem powder is also there. So what you have to do is, Didi, take a quarter teaspoon of powder in a glass of hot water on an empty stomach early in the morning. So this is to be taken like this. So this actually, it will improve your health and so many benefits are there. Understand. So thank you. And if you want, maybe talk to Sripad Dandi Maharaj or message him, he can send to your country, possible. Like you receive it maybe by courier, so he can also send to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Dandavad pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, devotees, for joining today. So we will see Sripad Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj tomorrow at 12:30. And we'll see Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Daivata Mj on Friday, 8:30 India time. So thank you for all joining. Panchakalpatarubhyascha Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, so much. We'll see you on Friday. Hare Bol.